So hi guys, this is my second message. Just a reflection on COVID, it's like a biblical story straight out of the Bible, David and Goliath. This very small virus, which, not very well studied, has brought nations to their feet. Global superpowers, when you think about it. The UK, the USA, Germany, they have all gone into lockdown, right? Surprising. There's nothing in recent history that has caused global superpowers, countries that have the highest level of technology available to them at their fingertips to stop commerce, to stop movement, to stop trade. And for world leaders, look at all the monarchs of the world, Queen Elizabeth II, all the kings and queens and princes of the European countries have all gone into isolation, in isolating themselves from a very, very small particle, 1 billionth of the size of anything imaginable, has brought the world to their knees. And it's a time for reflection for all of us to, one, hey, be happy you studied bio. And this, sometimes people, downplay the importance of our subject. Now they realize, hey, it's good to know some bio, right? COVID-19, as you're aware, is a very, very small particle. Viruses are not even considered living. This one just has some RNA, and all it simply does is attach to a receptor site, insert its RNA, and take over your cells, right? And this little virus has crippled the world. But let us reflect on some of the things that we've taken for granted. We've always taken for granted that if we wanted to buy food, we could just simply go to the supermarket. Or if you're on campus, you just run around to Ross and say, hey, Ross, serve me up this and serve me up that. And sometimes we don't even be patient. When we go to the cafeteria, sometimes we took it for granted. Hey, nowadays, hey, to get chicken, to get certain things, not so easy, right? So let's reflect on life and maybe things that, were everyday, inconsequential. We never took a second note, right? And how, people were sacrificing for us, and now people are still sacrificing for us. Let's think about things in the past that we've heard of when the Great Depression. We heard of the Great Depression in the United States where people had to join lines and there was rationing of food and, just terrible, terrible economic situation. And come to think of it, we're going through that now. Even in the United States, there, people having to line up for groceries for an American, and for most people in first world countries, that's unthinkable. We don't do that. For us, certain things we took for granted in this generation. Let's think about even travel, that, hey, before you could look out for that relative coming from the States and you pick up the phone and say, carry this for me and carry that for me. Travel is banned globally. Globally, countries with the highest technology have closed their borders. This is a sobering thought. Many, many countries, people have died. God bless their souls. May they rest in peace. And these are people from first world countries dying from a little David-sized particle. The Goliaths of the world are falling to their knees, scrambling to find an answer for this. Let's think about also people who, we heard stories of the Holocaust and how, people suffered during this time and massive amounts of people died, right? This brings home a lot of things that possibly in our lifetime we've never experienced. We've never experienced that we had to stay in our homes, afraid, right? Think about the Holocaust where possibly the Jews, they were afraid to go out. They were afraid to be recognized because they could be killed. Now, our story is a little different. We're afraid to go out. We're afraid to die because of a little virus. You know, there are lots of things that go on in the world, and sometimes we never give them a second thought because us, it will never happen to me. But now everyone is kind of come to realize the mortality levels, you know, and how fragile and how fickle our lives are, you know. The Bible says we're just like flowers, you know, come up one day and we're gone the next. And this really brings home to us life and that, you know, one day could be here and next day you're not. So let's reflect on how precious life is. And maybe after this experience, we won't take people for granted. We won't take people who do things for us for granted. We won't take that we have a meal on our table for granted. And let us now develop an attitude of gratitude, right? Grateful for what we have and you know, think about other people more. And if you want to continue this conversation, I welcome you to continue this conversation on our group. It would be nice to hear your reflections as well and share your thoughts on this whole thing and how you're managing and, you know, little things, simple things now that possibly you're like, wow, you know. So, COVID Chronicles, you can call it that. Okay, my first of my COVID Chronicles. And have a nice day, guys. Bye.